Welcome to the Dudeist Journey podcast with your host, me, the Reverend Phillip K. Quick reminder that Dudeism is more of a philosophy and a religion. Philosophy is to take it easy. We're basically modern day Taoism. It's the art of peace. As there is an art of war, so there is also an art of peace. And that's what we try to practice out here. Now, just off the bat, so you know, because I'm going to make references and things, if you haven't heard any of the past episodes, I started this podcast after I lost my little brother in 2020, and then, unfortunately, I lost my wife in 22. So, yeah, grief, pain, hell. I mean, if you look at some of the last podcasts, you'll see, like, there's a fucking, watch out for episode 11, is what I'm saying. I'm just having, such a fun time here. Oh, God, it's crazy world out there. How's your week been, huh? Fantastic. Did you finally get those home renovations done? No. I'm going on a fucking year here. I, injured myself, and I changed the design around, and I changed my mind, and blah, 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 blah. And just too much dumb shit, and then I just got to keep fixing things and pulling back layers and fixing shit. It's just been bugging the fuck out of me. But, you know, that's what happens when you do it yourself. It's like, look, I tried getting a contractor, okay? It did not fucking work out. So instead, I just said, fuck it, I'm redoing it. I'm doing it myself. I'll save a shit ton of money in the long run, so. And I've got pretty much all the materials. The only thing left is to get, the mortar for the tile and the grout. That's it. Got everything else sit here and ready to go. And I'm tempted to work on other parts. Right now, my main thing is I basically need to remove the entire floor. I got to get that done, and I got a jackhammer for that. It was a lot easier in the spring and summer to remove the tile than it is now because it's, really cold outside, and it's, made the mortar even more difficult. And it's just fucking shit. But I've been having... Okay, so here's my question here real quick. I don't know how your week's been, but I've been dealing with some bullshit, okay? So... what is the point of a company having an email service if they don't answer the fucking emails, okay? I get customer service issues here going on. It's pissing me off. So, alright, fuck. Here's what happened. My in-laws still live with me. I lost my wife, but my in-laws are still here, and they help with the kids and everything. And they, especially my mother-in-law. She's been absolutely wonderful. She's been like a second mom to my girls. It's been tough. But my father-in-law, poor guy, has got dementia, and he's still trying to be, productive and active and helpful. But holy God, does he fuck some shit up. So there were these... we have a fireplace. We burn fires every day. We're out in the country, so you need every heat source you can get. And we burn a lot of wood. Well, we had a bucket of ashes out in the back porch. Now, I had just put new ashes in there. Now, my father-in-law didn't know this, so... he puts it into a plastic bag, and the coals that are still hot are burning through the plastic bag. So his solution for this was not to put it back in the metal fireproof bucket, mind you. No. His idea is instead is to put it on in a cardboard box and then put it on top of our trash cans because it's trash day. So he puts it on top of the trash, on top of a bunch of other flammable trash on a windy fucking day. So I don't know if you have had the joy of your neighbor calling you and telling you your trash can is on fucking fire, or the joy of actually having to use that little fire extinguisher you got under the fucking kitchen sink. But oh boy, I tell you, I have experienced that joy myself. Lucky fucking me. I was like, dude, what the fuck were you thinking? You put coals in a cardboard box on top of a bunch of flammable trash on a windy day. How the fuck was that taking care of it? What the fuck? So anyway, part of my trash can is melted. And I gotta get a new can, and I'm trying to contact the fucking customer service through their email shit, because I don't want to talk to a person. And they're not fucking responding, the assholes, so I'm just, I'm gonna have to fucking call them. I don't want fucking hate when I have to call. Yeah, so I'm having fun with that. How about you? You having fun? Hope you're having a fun time out there. This is just one of the fun things there. But I've been trying to, like I said, I've been dealing with the grief and the pain and the shit. It fucking sucks, man. I got what's called the Shadow Journal workbook or whatever it is, and I've been trying to use that. Right now, I'm dealing with the whole fucking I'm in that section where it's all about visualizations. Visualize your shadow self and welcome them and what the fuck ever. Visualize your childhood in your happiest moment. Yeah, oh Christ. I get so tired of this fucking crap. I mean, I understand the whole gratitude thing, and I just feel like the gratitude thing has been shoved down my fucking throat, especially since like The Secret got big, because the gratitude thing's the whole big deal, and I'm just like, look, man, it's a little bit difficult, okay? It's a little difficult to have the attitude of gratitude, all right? I mean, I'm grateful for my house. I'm grateful for this pencil. I'm grateful that my back hurts. I'm grateful that my ankle hurts for some weird reason. I don't know why, but it just hurts today. I'm grateful, 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 grateful. It's like, fucking Christ. I mean, trying to tell someone, especially someone dealing with depression and grief, trying to tell them to be grateful, you might as well walk up to a homeless person and say, the thing that would fix all your problems is you just got to be rich. Yeah, no shit, motherfucker. Thank you. Thank you. Yes, that would solve all my problems. Thank you, you fucking asshole. Yeah. You gotta ride the wave sometimes, man. I mean, you have to understand, we don't control the fucking ocean. We don't control this world. You want to try to control things? Go ahead. You try and control all fucking day long, and I got news for you. You ain't gonna control shit. There's a limit on what we can control. A limit. And it's understanding that and accepting it and trying to figure out your way through that you finally have a little bit more peace. And it's something that I know that I've been messing with myself. And it's the reason for the podcast episode sermon today, the subject about to stop living in your head. I have this problem a lot, especially now because I don't have my partner with me anymore. So I don't have that person to talk to or bounce ideas off of or, share the fears and doubts and, come up with a better plan. Because my late wife and I, she was the brains, man, and I was the muscle. That's how it worked. And it worked well. And now I got to be the fucking brains. And I'm not saying I'm a fucking idiot. I went to community college. But I'm stepping into some worlds that have been difficult. And I've made some smart moves as far as investment goes, and I wish I felt better about it. It's like I said, it's just tough. It's tough, and so I kind of live in my head a lot, and I always have these grand ideas of what the future's going to be and what's going to happen, and I'm going to do this, and then it's all going to work out, and then it fucking doesn't. So I start going through just doubting myself even more, and I was wrong, and I'm an idiot, and da-da-da-da-da. So I'm dealing with a lot of that kind of shit, But this happens when you're stuck in your head, man. You overanalyze, you're a huge critic to yourself, it causes more stress, more worry. It is definitely something that is not fucking fun, man. You just gotta roll with it, man. Because I had to do the whole gratitude shit and everything. I was trying to think of a funny memory, and I actually did have one with my late wife. So when my late wife was first pregnant with her oldest, my late wife was a paraplegic. She was in a wheelchair, and so the doctors were learning from her. They didn't even think she could get pregnant, so they were really worried. She was high risk and stuff, but she was dealing with the normal shit that women deal with when they get pregnant, like the morning sickness and the nausea and everything. And so she was starting to feel a little bit better after having a bad bout, and I was trying to cheer her up, so I took her out to eat. And where do you take your nauseous pregnant wife? Why, where better than Olive Garden? And I took her to fucking Olive Garden. Because we used to, you have to understand, my wife and I, we met in high school, so we got married, and we've struggled a lot. So we had to go to these cheaper restaurants, especially the chain restaurants, because that's what we could afford. I mean, for a while, Denny's was the only fucking restaurant that we could afford, and that's when they had that whole Grand Slam for $1.99 and shit. You know what I'm saying? Fucking, we was po, okay. It's So I take her to the Olive Garden, and she pukes in the salad bowl. We're not 10 minutes into the meal, man. And she fucking blarf right in the fucking salad. I'm glad I got some before she did it. It's like, fuck. And I'm like, oh, well, no more salad for us. Jesus, fuck. Right? And so, like, we have to tell the server. Now, my wife's embarrassed. She doesn't want to tell the server. So I, got to do what husbands do. And I got to tell the server. But I have this moment where I'm trying to decide, do I tell him the truth, or do I act like this is how the salad came and I try to get a free meal out of the deal, Excuse me, sir, there's puke in this salad. Yes, human puke. I believe probably from a pregnant woman. I demand a free meal, I so bad want to do that, but I didn't. I didn't do that. I told him the truth and gave him an extra tip. That's what I fucking did. Like, because this poor guy, he's got to take the salad bowl in the back and, burn it, Like, so he's gonna have fun and deal with that one. Oh, God. This fucking goddamn OSHA regulations and everything. No, it's not OSHA. It's that fucking, what's that other one? Fuck, I forget. Is it FDA? I think it's FDA. You know what I'm saying? I can't remember. I'm on drugs. Anyway, so if we take a moment to try to stop living in our heads, man. Well, I look to the Abide Guide. That's our Dudeist, wouldn't call it a Bible necessarily, but just, general term of guidelines, history, so you kind of understand everything, right? Now, the Abide Guide will say, maybe during these times where you're living in your head, maybe stop, light up a J, just relax, and allow it to flow, And the universe will tend to unfold as it should, right? Like I said, you got to ride the wave, man. You can't control the wave. You got to ride it, all right? We can't control if there's a storm outside, but we can control how we prepare for the storm. You see what I'm saying? So, there's a Dr. Rose, specializing in addiction, and he came up with these 5 steps that he gives to people who are in recovery and stuff to try to help them stop living in your head. And it's a pretty general thing that a lot of folks out there can kind of take a look at, and you can apply in your life. So I went through these, and some of these, I'm definitely going to be trying more. Like I said from the last episode, really trying to do what I can to kind of really turn back on the passion, man, and try and just, get back in the flow of things, man, because I've just been low. I don't want to be low anymore. I'm trying to stop the lowness, all right? So these 5 steps to stop living in your head. Let's take a look at these dudes, all right? It's from modern science here, all right? So first one is accept what you can't control, just like I was fucking talking about. Well, we all try to control every part of our life. We tend to overanalyze, and we just want to fix our emotions, but you can't. You got to feel your emotions. It's like quicksand. The more you struggle, the faster you sink. You have to lay down with the sand and prevent from sinking, and you slowly pull yourself out. You got to immerse yourself in that fucking sand and get yourself out. Because you got to remember, man, it's okay if you feel shitty and you cry. Whether it be once in a while, or for my case, I'm crying every fucking day. So, like, but that's okay, man. That's grief. It's life. Sometimes you get dealt some shit fucking cards, man, but still playing. Still got chips. Still in the game. Which brings me into the second step here, which is you got to take a step back from your thoughts, all right? Now, we've all had this thing where, like, one negative event can ruin a good day, Someone cuts you off in traffic, you stub your toe out of bed, your father-in-law sets your trash can on fire, things that just kind of fuck up your flow and your peace, You were having a good time, and then, nope, neighbor calls, and your fucking trash can's on fire. So, yeah, but it's what you got to do when it says step back from your thoughts. What it's saying is you got to step outside yourself. Okay. Got to stop the avalanche of the negative thoughts. Take a look at yourself as if you were a fucking alien looking at your life. I have to do this a lot. Because I got to get outside and think outside the box here a little bit. And so, I have these thoughts myself where I think I'm not good enough. But if I step back and I look at my work as a person, as a total stranger, I'm not bad. I'm pretty good. I'm like, well, fuck, I need to be a little bit less harsh on myself. I'm actually making some cool shit. So take a step back for a minute, all right? Maybe listen to some of your close friends and or people whose opinions you value, the confidants, not the constituents, the confidants, okay? And, it does help. It does. Especially when you're in, like, stressful situations. You just got to think, focus, and slide and ride the wave, man. Which leads us into the third step here to stop living in your head, which is to focus on the present moment. This is a big thing in Dudeism. It's all about living in the now, okay? You don't worry about the past or the future, the past, it's like you got to live in the present, man. You got to live in the now. You got to be wide awake and perceptive to now, man. What you're feeling, what's going on, I gotta talk about this like going with the flow, Some days, yeah, I fucking cry, so I just let it out, man. Sometimes it's like a sad song or, get a smell of her old perfume or something, or like I find something of hers that she used to wear all the time. Yeah, fuck, man. And I can't stop it. It's just gonna, like I said, this grief, it's like a big jar filled with water, and I gotta empty out the water. But I can only do it a little at a time. I can't do it all at once, or it makes a mess, man. But I do have to drain the water. So I have tried to do my best to kind of stop worrying and go with the flow and just kind of feel this present moment and where I'm at and how I'm doing. Because sometimes you can have a good moment, man, maybe like watching your favorite show. I know me, it's like I'll watch certain movies. Yeah, even movies that people like don't even like, but I'll watch. but I like. We all have them. We all got them. We all got those guilty pleasures. Mm-hmm. Mm. Oh man. But you have to kind of let these things happen. Can't force them, man. This is just kind of how things go. We're still understanding the human mind and how all this shit works and how the universe works. We're still learning. And that's okay. I like a good mystery box. Which then leads down into the fourth deal here. The fourth step, which is you got to remove the limiting self-definitions. Now, this sounds like a lot of big words here, so I'm like, what the fuck is this? But basically, it's like, hey, if you think you're shit, you are shit, okay? It's that type of thing. If you're hard on yourself, you're going to keep going that way. Now, what we mean by the self-definition is like, let go of the rigid labels and standards. Stop comparing yourself to others. It's not as simple as just think positive, like I mentioned, It's like telling a poor guy to just be rich. It's like, it's not that fucking easy. But what you do, and this is a little bit of an interesting comparison that I think helps, is don't think of yourself as the weather. Think of yourself as the sky. And your thoughts are the weather. Okay? Now, the sky is always blue. It's unchanged. It's always going to be its color. The weather will change. But notice that the sky doesn't try to stop it. It just lets it flow. Sometimes there's a storm. Sometimes it's bright, sunny, and warm. It changes. I mean, it's kind of like, I think it was funny, David Lynch, the filmmaker, recently passed away. And people have asked him, I've watched some of your movies that don't make sense. And he said, well, why should they make sense? Life doesn't make sense, and everyone accepts that. Touché, sir, touché. Oh. But that's one thing that I think you have to kind of think about. It's not always going to make sense. Someday impossible things will happen, like a woman in a wheelchair who no one thought could get pregnant gives birth to 2 healthy babies. But again, you also couldn't expect that she would get cancer at 42 and pass away 2 weeks before Christmas. The cards you get dealt, man. And this leads us down into the 5th step to help stop living in your head. The final one, which is live by core values, all right? So what are core values? Like, what exactly do you mean by that? Well, once again, we've said don't compare yourself to others, right? So we got that right. So what this is trying to say is that success in life is living by your values, you know? Like, okay, so let's say you get a bunch of money, but it's like, do you really want to go and buy some McMansion and have to pay extra property tax and all this other shit? Or do you want to just buy a house that you know you can afford in a reasonable neighborhood and live comfortably? You see what I'm saying? The media bombards us with images of what success and a happy life is. But that's a fantasy. I mean, it's a fucking fantasy. I mean, who the fuck needs to spend $100,000 on a fucking car? Your car mostly just sits there. Think about it. You drive it to one place and the other, and it just sits there. Values are different. Values are distinct goals, and they have a meaningful direction. And they don't have an endpoint, man. To have the value of peace will take a lifetime to truly accomplish, okay? But it's a compass that helps guide to your life using those values. And one example also is, think of like a compassionate person, okay? Some of us are just naturally compassionate. But it's not always that simple, is it? You have to practice. It's like I said, if you listen to one of my last episodes about patience, it's a practice. It takes practice. You got to practice that just like a fucking instrument. You have to practice. It's the only way you're going to get good. It's the only way it's going to happen. Practice. So these 5 steps here that we have that can help us to quit living in our head and actually get out there and do what we want to do freely, you know? Kind of get away from the whole, I think it's, what is it called? Imposter syndrome, right? The realm of perfectionism is a distorted perspective. Let me repeat that. The realm of perfectionism is a distorted perspective. You constantly question if you're good enough, right? That's the imposter syndrome, okay? You're a fraud, all right? Psychologists sometimes call it analysis paralysis. We stop all efforts towards what really matters to us because we don't think we're good enough or we're not supposed to. And I deal with this all the fucking time. All the time. And you have to break free with it and just not give a fuck, okay? That's what you have to do. So you have to build habits into your daily routine, a repetition that's going to help you, okay? Because that's what it is. I mean, think about it. Intelligence is memorization. Memorization is repetition. The people who have routines, those are the ones who are successful. You know, I want to be a successful author. Okay, one of the most successful authors I know, Stephen King. Well, what's his habit? What does he do? Oh, he writes 6 pages a day no matter what. No matter how he feels, no matter what's going on in life. Every day he's going to get 6 pages done. From the moment he wakes up before he goes to bed, 6 pages is going to get done. Got to do the same. Now he goes with the flow. He's like, sometimes I got to deal with, my kids, or I got to deal with this, or I got to deal with that. And that's okay. But I still get those 6 fucking pages in. That's what you do. Now, one thing that can help is that you got to have they have this thing called the SMART principle. SMART. And the SMRT is like, the S is for specific goals, put a specific goal in mind that you want to accomplish. M is for measure the progress, step at a time. You don't have to make these giant leaps in one day. Just every little bit. You're laying down a foundation to build it, okay? All right? Rome wasn't built in a day, all right? A is for achievable and realistic goals, Like I said, you can't do all the. I can't write an entire novel in one day, so let's not do that. Let's try and stick with like you said, the 6 pages, or what I do is 500 words a day. Get at least 500 words. The R is for relevant. So whatever you're doing, is it connected to your values, your core values that we discussed? Because if you have those things, usually what you're doing is going to help with that. It's going to help give you more drive to do that, which leads down to T, which is time. And you have to understand you have to be patient. Stuff takes time. But also give yourself a deadline on certain things. That way you can achieve it. You know that you're gonna get this done. And I have to give myself deadlines. Deadlines really help me. It's one of the reasons why I try to do conventions, because conventions give me a deadline. Like, I've got to get certain stuff done before this con so we can get ready to go. So I hope this all helps you dudes. I really do. Because you got to let go of the whole trying to be the Big Lebowski. And you got to think more like the dude. Connect with your core values. Align your action appropriately. Do what you can to take it easy. So why don't we take 5 minutes now, 5 minutes of time for you to just think, rest, relax on this, about your core values and what you want, and how do you quit living in your head and start being better to yourself, okay? It's like the whole heart holding a gun to the brain, like, quit telling my friend he's a fuck up, or whatever it is. It's like, you got to do that for yourself, man. So let's take 5 minutes to let that flow, and we'll start that 5 minutes right now. right, we're back. Well, I hope this little sermon gave you guys a little bit of information that might be able to use for yourself to help progress into a better world. Like I said, it's not all going to be sunshine and rainbows, brothers and sisters, but we're going to get through it. We're going to, no matter what, we're going to persevere. And we can all do that just by taking it easy. Because when you take it easy, the dude abides. Thanks for tuning in. Hope to see you next time.
From author Reverend Phillip K. comes your next must-read book, Nicholas of Myra, a novel available on Amazon. In Nicholas of Myra, a novel, immerse yourself in the life of the man we all know as Santa Claus. From the loss of his parents to being raised on a farm by his uncle, Nicholas's early life was marked by challenges. His journey led him to the Christian temple in Myra, where he became bishop in a time when Christianity was forbidden in the Roman Empire. Experience Nicholas's profound strength as he faces arrest, persecution, and the unimaginable loss of his loved ones. Despite being tortured and imprisoned, his unshakable faith and his message of love, compassion, and generosity shine as a beacon through the darkness. Nicholas of Myra, a novel, is a journey through history, revealing the roots of Christmas and its traditions. It's a story of faith that endures against all odds. Available in Kindle, paperback, and Kindle Unlimited. Nicholas of Myra, a novel from author Reverend Phillip K. Order your copy right now and discover the story of a lifetime.